So I got enough of a response on the post I made yesterday about working out and training. I thought I would cover what we're doing here at the house now and how we might scale it for you guys at home. The protocol we're doing right now I have called the Apocalypse Meathead workout. So I'm going to show you what that looks like and how we might scale it. We don't really train like bodybuilders, so we don't focus specifically on individual muscles so much. What we focus on is movement patterns. Specifically, we look at a horizontal pull and push and a vertical pull and push for the upper body, and then we look for a squat and a hip hinge with the lower body. So essentially, a squat where you're going straight down and up is kind of your quad dominant movement, and the things where you're bending over and picking things up like a deadlift, that's a hip hinge movement. So we really focus on movements and less about individual muscles, although we throw some vanity stuff in there too. First thing, of course, is the warm-up. Warm-up is really important because I have back issues and I have pretty constantly tight hip flexors and hips in general. We do an active warm-up that focuses on mobility and glute activation. So if I do this on the ground, I do 10 just of these pelvic tilts. And I go to one side and I do 10 we call these clams, and I'm really trying to make sure that the glute is activating. And then of course to the other side. And then we do the glute bridge, where feet are here, and I'm trying to squeeze my butt. If you feel the hamstring starting to burn or cramp, then you need to adjust your position because you really want to focus on the glutes actually firing and doing their job. One reason a lot of people have back pain and poor hip mobility is that lack of glute activation. So after that, we do what's called fire hydrants, where we're making big circles going forward and back with either side. And then I'll throw in some mountain climbers, and I'll throw in some of these alternating, I think they're called stink bugs, just to try to get my core moving. So we don't do any static stretching, the kind of traditional stretch and hold before the workout. We save that for after the workout. So what we're trying to do with the warm-up is get our heart pumping a little bit, get everything moving. We don't really want to do those static stretches. So if you look at the board, I have the current Apocalypse Meathead workout written out. So on Monday, we focus on the horizontal push and pull. So we're going to do a flat bench press, an incline bench press, a row, a curl, and a tricep extension. So for us, because we have a pretty good home gym, we actually have a power rack and a bench and a bar. So I will go with just the bar, and I'll do a warm-up set, really just kind of focusing on getting everything nice and warm, feeling the muscles working. And then I'll put on my working weight until I'm doing 3 sets of a weight that forces me to stay in the 8 to 12 rep range. After I've done 3 sets of that, I raise the bars a little bit. I adjust to an incline on the bench, and we do 2 sets of 25 reps. Usually what happens is your first set is 25 and then your second set's a little lower. If you don't have this equipment at home, there's a few ways you can scale this. Push-ups are a great horizontal pressing movement, and we can kind of scale this up or down. So when I'm doing push-ups, I have this weighted vest here. This weighted vest goes up to 60 pounds, so I can add 60 pounds to my body weight and do push-ups, which is easy enough. If you need to make them harder, you put your feet on the bench, and now you're doing these incline push-ups, which puts more of your weight on your hands. If you are finding the push-ups a little difficult, you can go the other way and you put your hands on the bench. And you do them off of here. That's less of your body weight. And if you don't have a bench or a chair that you're feeling comfortable with, you can do knee push-ups. Nothing wrong with that. Just make sure that you're keeping your elbows in. You don't want them to roll out and flare. Keep your elbows in. Just nice, even reps. So once you've done whatever horizontal pushing movement you're going to do, what we're doing is we're doing bent over rows for our horizontal movement. So we grab the bar with our working weight, we stick out the butt so that we have a nice neutral spine, and we do bent over rows. That's our current horizontal rowing motion. If you don't have a bar or your back won't allow you to do that, one of the things that you can do is you can do horizontal rows with your body. So we have rings on our power rack. So that makes it really easy for us. We can just grab the rings, Stick out our feet. Now we're doing horizontal rows with our body weight. Again, I tend to load this with the weighted vest because my body weight by itself isn't quite enough. You can adjust how much resistance by the angle, so the more upright you are, the less of your body weight you're moving. If that is still too tough, one thing you can do is you can grab a door handle and you can put your feet close to the wall, kind of sit back and pull yourself, really just focusing on squeezing the back muscles. If that is awkward or you don't have a door you feel comfortable with, one thing we can do is we can start to use homemade weights. If you don't have weights at home, find a gallon milk jug, or we have a cat, so we have a big kitty litter. You fill this thing up with water or sand, you can end up with a pretty heavy weight. What you're gonna do, you're gonna brace a knee and a palm. If you have a bench, if you just have a chair, just kneel down next to it, brace your palm on the chair. We're gonna pull this straight back. So we're trying to think you're gonna bring this to the side of your hip next to your belly button. So we're not trying to bring it to our face. We're squeezing the back muscle towards here. And so you can do 3 sets of 12, 12 on one hand, 12 on the other hand. I'm going to refer to the milk jug a lot because this is a good, useful weight. So once we've done all of our horizontal pushing and pulling movements, now it's kind of time for the vanity movements, which is the curls. So you can use a barbell. I personally, right now, have been enjoying using my sandbag, which we'll get into a little bit later. So we have a couple different sandbags we use for conditioning. Because this one is 80 pounds, I can grab the handles and start doing some curls on this one and get a pretty good bicep burn after I've done enough reps. So that's great. We're gonna do 3 sets of 12 to 15. And then tricep, on this day we do overhead extensions. So if I take one of these dumbbells, I can put this over my head, bend it down behind my head, and straighten. That's forcing this part of the arm to do the work. Again, if you don't have that, your handy dandy milk jug, you can weight this up as needed. This will need to be lighter than the biceps, of course, and then you extend here. The other option, if you don't have equipment but would like to start investing in a little bit, a pack of power bands from Amazon. I think we got these for 50 bucks. It's a really good investment. These get pretty tough. You can get a good work out of this. I think the green one gives you up to 120 pounds of resistance. And so you can do bicep curls with it. You stick both your feet in it and you curl. You can also stick one foot in it, put it behind, and start doing really hard extensions. So once we've done the horizontal push and pull, we've done the curls, we've done the extensions, all of these workouts have what's called a finisher. And finisher is just a little bit of conditioning. So sometimes we do really gnarly stuff like medicine ball slams or sledgehammer hits on the tire. Right now, what Patsy and Benton and I are doing are just a quick, easy half-mile run. And then we come back and then we do some static stretching. We stretch our hamstrings and our hip flexors and our quads. And that's kind of the end for Monday.